It was just after 3 a.m. on August 8, 1963. A Royal Mail train raced through the quiet English countryside, carrying millions of pounds in cash collected from banks across Britain. To the crew, it was just another routine journey. But hidden in the darkness, a gang of highly organized criminals was waiting. Within the next hour, they would stop the train, overpower its crew, and escape with 2.6 million. A record-breaking sum at the time, worth many tens of millions today after adjusting for inflation. The crime would become known as the Great Train Robbery, one of the most daring and famous heists in history. During the early 1960s, Britain's postal trains transported huge amounts of cash every night. Banks across the country sent money by rail because it was fast and efficient. Although security measures existed, the robbers believed the system had weaknesses they could exploit. For months, the gang carefully planned every detail. They studied railway schedules, train routes, police patrols, and the timing of the Royal Mail Service. They selected a quiet stretch of railway in Buckinghamshire where they believed they could stop the train without attracting attention. Every member of the gang had a specific role, and every minute of the operation was rehearsed. In the early hours of August 8, 1963, the plan was set into motion. The gang tampered with railway signals, causing the train driver to believe the line ahead was blocked. Following standard safety procedures, the driver brought the train to a stop. Within seconds, masked men emerged from the darkness and surrounded the locomotive. The driver, Jack Mills, and other railway employees were quickly overpowered. The robbers then uncoupled most of the train, leaving only the locomotive and the mail coach that contained the cash. The original plan called for one of the gang members to drive the train to a nearby bridge where waiting trucks were hidden. However, operating the locomotive proved more difficult than expected, forcing the robbers to rely on the train's driver to move it the short distance. Once the train reached the bridge, the gang worked with remarkable speed. Forming a human chain, they passed more than 120 heavy mail bags filled with cash from the train into their waiting vehicles. The entire operation lasted less than an hour. Before police could arrive, the robbers disappeared into the night carrying 2.6 million, making it the largest cash robbery in British history at the time. When daylight broke, the shocking news spread rapidly across Britain. Newspapers called it one of the boldest robberies the country had ever witnessed. Police immediately launched one of the largest criminal investigations in British history. Thousands of officers searched for clues, interviewed witnesses, and followed every possible lead. At first, it appeared the robbers had planned the perfect crime, but one critical mistake would change everything. After the robbery, the gang hid at an isolated farmhouse known as Leatherslade Farm, believing it was a safe place to divide the stolen money and wait until the search slowed down. When they eventually abandoned the farmhouse, they failed to remove all traces of their presence. Detectives searching the property discovered fingerprints on bottles, dishes, furniture, and even a Monopoly board the gang had been using to pass the time. Those fingerprints became the breakthrough investigators needed. Over the following months, police identified and arrested many members of the gang. Some attempted to flee overseas, while others managed to evade capture for years. Although a large portion of the stolen money was never recovered, the robbery itself had already become legendary. The Great Train Robbery exposed major weaknesses in Britain's cash transportation system and led to significant improvements in railway and postal security. More than 60 years later, it remains one of the world's most famous heists. It has inspired countless books, documentaries, television programs, and films, continuing to fascinate people around the globe. The Great Train Robbery is remembered not only for its daring execution, but also for the lesson it left behind. No matter how carefully a crime is planned, even the smallest mistake can change everything, and that is why the Great Train Robbery remains one of history's most unforgettable true crime stories.